The joke slipped out of my mouth like a careless spark near dry grass, small and stupid. The kind you don't think twice about until you smell smoke. It was late, the office lights were dim, and the rain outside made the windows look like they were crying. I teased my coworker about living together, laughed it off, and went home thinking nothing of it. By the next morning, my phone was buzzing nonstop, my heart felt strangely heavy, and by evening there was a knock at my door that would crack my life open in ways I never saw coming. Before the story pulls you in any deeper, pause for a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet ways people save each other without even knowing it, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. My name is Nathan Caldwell, and I live in a small apartment outside Columbus, Ohio, the kind of place with thin walls and a constant hum from the highway nearby. I worked as a project coordinator at a mid-sized logistics firm. Nothing glamorous, just spreadsheets, deadlines, and coffee that tasted burnt no matter how early you arrived. That was where I met her. Her name was Rebecca Moore. She had a gentle seriousness about her, the kind that made people trust her with details they didn't even trust themselves with. She laughed softly, worked hard, and never stayed late unless she absolutely had to. Everyone assumed she had a full life waiting somewhere beyond the office walls. I never asked. I never really asked anyone. That night, the night everything changed, a few of us were stuck late finishing a delayed shipment report. The building was quiet, echoing, and the exhaustion made us careless. I joked about how we practically lived at the office and might as well share rent to save money. It wasn't cruel, just thoughtless. I noticed the way Rebecca smiled, a quick curve of the lips that didn't quite reach her eyes. I shrugged it off, grabbed my jacket, and went home, thinking only about leftovers and sleep. What I didn't know was that Rebecca's life was quietly collapsing. She had been staying on a friend's couch for weeks, after a sudden breakup with her long-term boyfriend, Marcus, a man who promised stability and delivered uncertainty. When that arrangement fell apart, she spent nights in her car, parking near grocery stores that stayed lit all night so she wouldn't feel completely alone. She came to work clean and composed, hiding exhaustion behind neat hair and polite smiles. My joke, careless as it was, landed on a wound already aching. The next day dragged. Emails blurred together. Meetings felt longer, and I had a strange sense of anticipation I couldn't explain. When I got home, the sun was already sinking, painting the sky with bruised oranges and purples. I kicked off my shoes, set my keys down, and was halfway to the kitchen when the knock came. It was firm but hesitant, like someone ready to turn away if unanswered. When I opened the door, there she was. Rebecca stood in the hallway with a single suitcase, her shoulders squared but her eyes tired in a way that went deeper than lack of sleep. The air felt heavier, like the moment before a storm breaks. She didn't look embarrassed. She looked desperate but dignified, as if asking for help was the hardest thing she had ever done. My heart dropped into my stomach, and suddenly the joke from the night before replayed in my head louder and crueler. She explained everything without drama. The couch was gone. The car nights were wearing her down. She didn't ask for charity or promises, just a place to stay for a few nights until she figured something out. I felt ashamed of how surprised I was, of how easily I had assumed everyone's life was as stable as it appeared between 9 and 5. I told her yes without hesitation, because there was no other answer that would let me sleep at night. Those first days were awkward and quiet. We moved around each other carefully, like strangers sharing a space neither fully owned. I gave her the bedroom and took the couch, telling myself it was temporary, telling myself not to read into the strange warmth I felt when I heard her moving around in the mornings. We ate simple meals, watched the news without really watching it, and talked in small pieces about work, traffic, and the weather. Beneath all of it, something unspoken was growing. Living together stripped away illusions quickly. I saw how she flinched at raised voices on television, how she triple-checked locked doors, how she cried silently one night when she thought I was asleep. She saw my restlessness, the way I paced when anxious, the stack of unopened mail I was afraid to deal with because it reminded me how alone I really was. We were two people pretending to be fine, suddenly sharing the truth in the smallest, quietest ways. The challenge wasn't space or money, it was fear. Fear of boundaries blurring, fear of getting hurt, fear of wanting something neither of us felt entitled to ask for. Office gossip loomed like a shadow, and we agreed to keep things professional at work, even as our lives tangled together after hours. Some days the tension felt unbearable, like holding your breath underwater for too long. But slowly, things changed. We started cooking together, laughing over burnt toast and badly timed grocery runs. We took evening walks around the neighborhood, talking about childhood dreams and the strange paths that led us where we were. I learned about her faith, quiet and steady, the way she believed God worked through ordinary people doing small acts of love. She learned about my mother, gone too soon, and how I had learned to rely on myself to a fault. The turning point came on a Sunday afternoon when a power outage darkened the apartment. We sat by the window, watching the city pause, and for the first time the silence felt comfortable. It wasn't charged or fearful. It was full. In that moment, I realized my careless joke had opened a door I didn't know I needed. It forced me to see someone fully and to be seen in return. Life didn't magically fix itself. Rebecca still searched for a permanent place, still wrestled with trust. I still struggled with vulnerability, with the idea that caring deeply meant risking loss. But we faced those challenges together, encouraging each other through job stress, bad days, and moments of doubt. We became a quiet team, rooted in respect before anything else. As the weeks passed, it became clear that what we shared was more than convenience or gratitude. It was companionship built on kindness, patience, and the courage to show up honestly. When Rebecca finally found an apartment nearby, the thought of her leaving filled me with a surprising ache. We talked about it carefully, slowly, acknowledging what had grown between us without rushing it or cheapening it. Just before the ending of this story, I want to ask you something special. If you're still here, please comment with a single word that describes what this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. The night before she moved out, we sat on the floor surrounded by boxes, the apartment echoing again. There was gratitude in the air, and something like hope. We didn't need grand gestures or dramatic confessions. We understood that love sometimes begins as shelter, as listening, as opening a door when someone knocks with nowhere else to go. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that small moments can change lives, please like this video, share it, and leave a heartfelt comment. Your engagement tells us these stories matter, and it might just encourage someone else to open a door they've been afraid to unlock. I teased my coworker about living together, thinking it was nothing. The next day, she was at my door, carrying a suitcase and a quiet prayer. What followed taught me that kindness has consequences, that jokes can become lifelines, and that sometimes the most ordinary choices lead to the most extraordinary grace.